I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Yes or no? Did you ever take banned substances to enhance your cycling performance?
Yes.
I had no prior knowledge of the planned assault on Nancy Kerrigan.
I am deeply sorry for my irresponsible and selfish behavior I engaged in.
Hello, everyone. I'm Francis Ellis. I'm joined by my co-host, Giulio Gallerati. This is Hoops the Podcast. Welcome back.
Let's do it, baby. Dog days of winter are upon us.
Ooh, it's cold.
Snuggle up with somebody.
That's right. Cuffing season.
Cuffing season.
It is cold. I like when it's cold.
Yeah?
Yeah, because you gotta have some cold days.
I do not like it.
Very, very cold. And I realize this is not evidence of this, but I was going to say that when it is really cold, you think to yourself, I think to myself, oh, good. Global warming isn't, at least it's not. If it were 65 every day in the winter, I would be terrified.
Like up here, yeah.
But I know that extreme days of cold on either spectrum, hot or cold, are often indicators of global warming.
Right, right.
But still, we live in New York. We live in the Northeast. Being able to break out that really, your warmest winter coat, to really bundle up, put on your gloves. It makes you think it's still worth having these things.
I'm not into it personally. I understand it can be a novelty. Like I enjoy visiting a place where I have to do that, but I don't want to do that at home. I've realized this is the coldest place I can tolerate. Like we were in Boston a couple weeks ago, and I was like, I could never live here again.
Really?
It's just too cold for me.
Huh.
I'm soft, dude.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like the cold.
A Mainer.
I'm a Mainer. I have thick porridge blood. My blood could be smeared on foie gras.
Dude, I just love blood smeared on foie gras.
It says like a relish on foie gras crostini. Serve it as a, nice little cannibalistic appetizer for a very weird dinner party. Is that thick blood? Is it from a redhead? Good. I'll have some.
Dude, okay, speaking of which,
pairs nicely with the Barolo.
I have a recommendation based on that. The movie The Invitation, if you're looking for a good creepy movie.
Yeah, what?
It's about a very weird dinner party.
Wait a minute, I've heard of this.
It's really good.
Who's in this?
Oh, man. I don't even know if there's anybody famous in it.
Can you give us a quick plot summary?
Yeah, there's this dinner party, and it just gets super fucking weird. I don't want to, saying more would give it away.
I know that I've seen a trailer for that or thought about watching it, and it's good?
Very.
Fun.
Very good. But dude, the cold, like, I just like walking around, dude, in general. Like, if I need a break, I just like walking around. So, like, having to fully get layered and, like, it was in the teens yesterday for anybody who's from overseas. It was like -10 Celsius. It was freezing, and like that just sucks ass, dude.
Yeah, there was a wind chill, a real feel. That's what you really got to look for, the real feel of 7 degrees.
Dude, there's a guy who who works in an oil situation in Alberta, and it'll be like -45. He's like, it was -45 the other night. What the fuck?
I would posit that once you get below a certain thing, it all feels kind of the same.
I wonder.
Well, think
Famous
about
last
it.
Words.
What's the difference between, 10 degrees and -10? Think about the difference between 50 and 70 is enormous.
Right. So here's the thought that I have, and that's interesting that you say that, because once you cross a certain threshold, you now have to bring out the heavy artillery to keep yourself warm.
Yes.
And once you're using that kind of gear, to your point, you would only bring that out for a certain temperature and lower than that.
Right.
Which makes it a little different.
You cannot bundling for -10 degrees is probably the same as bundling for 10 degrees. Right?
Were we talking Fahrenheit?
Yeah. What of course
I'm sorry.
we're talking Fahrenheit.
Dude, I said -10.
What do you mean?
Dude, I said -10 Celsius. That's
Are you converting these numbers back to Celsius?
I had said -10 Celsius, which is why when you said -10, I just wanted to clarify.
Got it.
But I have my phone in Celsius.
Why?
So that I can become fluent in Celsius.
Give me a fucking break.
Dude, I'm serious.
What's the point of that?
Look, bro, I'm not even fucking with you.
Why do you have it?
Because,
all right, what's 4 degrees Celsius? Is there a number there that gives you Fahrenheit?
It's approximately 40. Check it. I didn't look.
Wait, let me think about it. I can do the math, right? What is it? You
I don't know
double
how
it
to-
and add 32 or something?
I don't know how to do the math.
40. That would be give you exactly 40 degrees. Let me see. Is it 5/9 or something like that? Is Celsius 39?
I only know by checking it every time. I have a converter.
Oh, so you just have all the numbers memorized?
Yes, that's the goal.
Huh.
Is to just understand it so well that when someone's like, it's 6, I just immediately understand that.
Interesting.
I don't know.
Well, that's fun.
Stupid obsession.
No, that's fun. I get it.
That's fun.
I get it. I mean, I don't see the point, really. What about metric system?
Well, my phone's on military time also for that same reason. Metric system's a little harder to like incorporate into your daily life. There's nowhere where I'd be checking something that will be measured in the metric system, which therefore makes it not worth it to me.
Do you wish you lived in a European type world?
No.
Where things were metric and Celsius? No,
also
Do you prefer their systems of measurement?
I don't. Kilograms is easy to convert in your head.
2.2 pounds.
That's an easy one. And I do not wish that. I'm perfectly happy with the way that I live now. I just think it's a little inconvenient that we're the only one, us and a few other people, that use our system. So I'd like to just speak the other system fluently as well.
You say that we're the only ones. England does it too. England's in miles.
A few places do it.
And then that to me is enough to say that we're not the only ones. And not only are we not the only ones, there aren't enough countries. If we were truly the only ones, then I would say, yes, we should probably know the other systems. But with England behind us, that to me means these are the 2 leading English-speaking countries in the world.
Right.
English is the universal language of trade and negotiation and business and all of that. Therefore, would it not stand to reason that the systems of measurement used by the 2 dominant English-speaking countries would set the standard for measurement?
So here's what I have to say to that. I didn't write the rules, pal. I'm not suggesting that there's some kind of competition. I don't think the metric system is better. I just know that it's so widely used that I would like to understand it. I don't disagree with you.
Interesting. That's a much more academic and very sort of brain curious point of view than I was giving you credit for.
Thank you.
But you just want to understand it better, to be a citizen of the world. I admire that.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah, that's good. That was a good answer. You really, not only did you dig yourself out of the hole, you threw me into the hole and then piled the dirt on top. Now I look like the asshole.
Dude, I just know I'm a little obsessed with altitude. Like I'm very, it's stupid, but like I'm curious how high things are all the time. And when someone is like, oh, it's 8,000 meters, it's very frustrating to me to not be able to do that on the fly.
Sure.
And like
Sure.
that. So I don't know. So
Meters are hard.
It's tough.
Meters are hard. I have a hard time with that. I got something for you.
Sure. Let's hear it.
This is a total left turn. And we were on a good roll there, but this is burning a hole in my brain.
Sometimes you gotta just rip it out.
So the New York Times today, I was scrolling through. Basically, I do a quick scroll on my phone to see if there are any headlines that really pique my interest on my way down to the crossword puzzle. I have become really obsessed with the crossword puzzle.
Are you using your American Express media credit for your New York Times subscription?
I am still on my mom. I think my mom has like a family New York Times plan.
Even better.
And so I don't pay for it. But if I could do that. By the way, if you're considering get the American Express Platinum card, if you're considering it, DM me first so I can send you a link, or Julio. He can have.
It's okay.
He can get some points
you
too.
You can go for it.
But I want that points bonus. So if you're gonna do it, just hit me and I'll give you the link. No skin off your back, but I'll get some points and I'd really appreciate that. All right. So here's an article that came up today in the New York Times. The joys and challenges of sex after 70.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Yeah?
We were talking about this in the live show, remember?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Nothing specific that anybody needs to know. Just we were talking about the idea of like still getting dirty when you're in your 70s, 80s.
That's right. That's right.
Your winter years.
Ew. Now, okay. So I said to myself, well, I guess I'm a little curious. So the New York Times doesn't write about sex all that often. So I dove in, and it's sort of a profile of this couple and their sort of path, their sexual path through their lives. When they were young, I'll summarize a little bit. They were young. They were super traditional conservative Catholics. I think they lost their virginity to each other. They got married when they were 21 and 22. And their sex life started very slowly. But then, as they sort of got to, they found a way to, to get to things they liked, but then their sex life waned, and then they both had affairs, and then they had to go to couples therapy, and they were on the precipice of dissolving their marriage. But they decided to sort of give it one more shot. And once that happened, they started to really gel sexually.
Awesome.
And they said that the affairs were the best and the worst thing that ever happened to them because it made them realize that they had things they needed to fix, and also told them kind of more of what they wanted. So all fine so far, a little bit all over the place. But then they started getting into some nitty-gritty details of what their sex life looks like now. And I think they're well into their 70s.
Okay.
So I'm just going to read this, okay? Aging has diminished them physically. Anne had colon cancer. David has spinal stenosis and uses a walker. But in these later years of life, they've consciously held on to their intimacy by creating a different kind of sexuality than when their bodies were strong and lithe. Most Sunday mornings, after coffee and fruit, David goes to their bedroom. He pops a Viagra, straightens out the bed cover, showers, and, when he's ready, calls for Anne. Their phones remain in the kitchen, the dog outside the bedroom door. They cuddle and touch each other. Sometimes they mutually masturbate, which they just started doing in the last decade. Anne still has her Prelude, that's a vibrator that he bought her decades ago.
Oh, man.
Which David has rewired over the years.
Oh, my God. That is funny.
Along with a few other vibrators that they use regularly. Even with Viagra, David can't always have a full erection, but they usually have intercourse regardless. Sometimes he has a dry orgasm where he doesn't produce enough semen to ejaculate. The missionary position no longer works for them. David has put on weight and would be too heavy. Instead, he often lies behind Anne and puts one leg between hers, the other to the side.
Wait a second. I need to.
I mean,
puts one
don't
leg
even
between
try.
Puts one leg between hers and the other to the side. So he's.
I get the sense that they're spooning each other.
Okay,
They're in
okay.
spoon of some pretzel spoon situation.
Side prone bone.
Yeah, they explore and try new things. Last summer, they began doing what's known as edging. During oral sex, David stops just when Anne is on the verge of climaxing. He repeats it a couple of times to build up the intensity before she finally has an orgasm. Okay, I'll stop there. Did we need that? Did we need any of that in the New York Times?
I really think it's great.
Really?
Yeah. I think it's like so great, to be honest.
Okay, I understand.
I hear you.
I'm not the target reader for this article. They want 70-year-olds to read this. But I read it.
The details, to be honest, like I was very curious to hear the details once you started describing that they've sort of
those 3 paragraphs, when I got through them, I almost had to sit down. In fact, I was sitting down. I think I stood up and then had to sit back down. The fact that, I mean, first of all, I get what the writer's going for, but
what is the writer going for? You
know that she's painting a picture. I think it's a female writer. She's painting a picture of, a very kind of unsexed sex. That sex is still possible after a certain age. It may not be as glamorous. These are some of the blue collar moves you can use. You know, he can't lie on top of her because he's too overweight. He's had spinal stenosis, so he uses a walker. She's had colon cancer. I mean, these are kind of graphic details that show that they're still finding ways to work around the failings of their bodies.
Yeah.
You know, he's got these dry, choking orgasms where he just puffs out dust through his limp penis, which I'm assuming he's, potentially using some kind of grip to inflate towards the end just enough to
shove it in.
The point is the fact that I have to come up with all of these. What does that mean? What does that mean? I'm astonished. I'm astonished by this article.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm not against it. I'm not a prude, but I don't know really what to make of it. And I wanted to present it to you.
So, dude, the way I see it, it's like this to me is almost like it's like an amazing thing. It's like, and they don't sort of candy coat it either. It's like, it feels really real and triumphant. It's like, these lifelong relationships are hard. This whole idea is like, he only had eyes for Anne, and until that day, he never even looked another woman in the eye. Like, that's just like unrealistic. And people, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So they've had their challenges, they've had their problems, and now they're like in their 70s, and they're being creative, and they're learning, and they're experiencing new things, and they're still together after all of this. It seems like this is like the pinnacle of sex in my mind. Like, anybody can fuck. Anybody can bend somebody over and fuck them. Like, this is like the good stuff.
All right, we're 10 minutes into the episode, and for the second time, Julio has now
Dude, I'm sorry, I'm not
buried me even deeper into a pit of shame.
I'm not trying to do that.
Well, you are Mother Teresa today, and you are, I come at you, I'm like, isn't this funny and weird and gross? And you're like, this is the good stuff. This is when you've washed away the pretense of young sex, you get to the metal.
Dude, I'm just saying, like, I agree. It's like the details are like funny and gross. Like, he's too fat to for them to have missionary position, and old, like he's too old, she's too delicate. The position they're describing sounds very clumsy, and of course this stuff, I agree with you, and it's funny, and it's, it seems like, oh, are they really about to describe this? But, you asked me what I think, and the thing that I take from it is what I said. And I'm not trying to say that I'm not trying to be contrarian to you. I don't even think what I'm saying is at odds with what you're saying. I don't even think you were going there.
I wasn't really sure what my point was. I just I read this, and it's just not something you typically, it's not something you typically read in the New York Times.
Yeah.
To hear those lurid details of sex, age aside, even if they were writing about young people, I would find it unusual, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I usually read what I read in the New York Times is financial reporting, COVID stuff, politics, and world affairs. So I don't typically get into elderly erotica during my morning oops beans glass,
But dude, yeah, it's just like, what a wild fucking journey life is. And love and relationships, they require maintenance and work and checking in and improving. And it's just like an active thing. And it's just never, things are always going to change and be different. And it's it's a good lesson to people who are dedicated to the people that they love. It's like, there might be challenges, but they can be overcome. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. No,
it's a nice message.
That is the noble path that you've
encouraging,
described. It is, although, again, let's not forget, our guy had, I think, 3 affairs. She had a revenge affair, and then they were one of his affairs, the last one, was so intimate that the woman told him he had to choose between his wife and her.
Oh, damn.
And
well, you didn't tell me any of this, but it doesn't change my point of view, but that's, yeah, dude, that's insane.
Let me ask you
something. Sounds like a dog.
Let's place this relationship between these two people on one side, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then let's paint a different picture. Let's say you've got a couple who, has a pretty basic sex life, but they grow old together. They've got their kids. There's no affairs. They love each other. They are bonded through their raising of a family, and they're paying off a mortgage, and their shared challenges that they've overcome, health issues, all that. And then they just sort of gracefully wind down in their later years with, a cup of a glass of iced tea on the porch, reading books and playing Scrabble, and traveling to Provence and, you know, tasting cheeses and whatever else.
Awesome.
And that's them, but they've retired from sex.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think which of those two lives would you rather have?
So this is the thing though, like the retiring from sex is a choice. You can reverse that choice.
It's not always. Some people's bodies really do give out.
So like,
I know that men with prostate cancer, if they have to have it removed or whatever, the tumor, if there's a tumor, often that surgery can induce impotence.
really?
Yeah. Regardless of Viagra or anything.
Oh my God.
It's just such a sensitive area.
Jesus. Jerk off often, everybody.
Is that right?
They say it's good for the prostate.
Fair.
Whatever. Okay, well, damn. All right, if it's not a choice, dude, I really don't know, bro. Jesus. I'd prefer to not have to choose. You know, I don't know. Coin flip. Like both have their downsides. But, you know, I like the idea of the active pursuit of physical intimacy as along with, you know, whatever other nice stuff happens as you grow old with somebody you love. But yeah, I don't really know. Like, do you have an answer?
I have to say, I don't know. I guess I hadn't really considered a complete retirement from sex in older age, but I do think that my priorities have shifted, and I now find that, you know, connecting over a good meal that we've cooked or any of those things, I can see those things getting richer and richer,
Right.
and being a good, I don't want to say stand-in, but being as connecting and as intimate as
Totally.
sex, especially as we get older.
Yeah, for sure.
And I don't have any problem with that.
Yeah.
I'm at peace with that.
Totally.
I am at peace with the notion that there may come a day where I may not have sex anymore
Yeah.
for years. And I have
I
no
mean,
problem with that.
That day is so far away, though. I mean,
I
is it-
suppose.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yes, I certainly hope so.
Right. Yeah. Jeez. If not, there's a problem. Whatever.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I mean, I wonder.
You
like,
think you'll be boning until you die?
I have no idea. I don't know.
Yeah, but you want to be.
Yeah, of course.
See, I don't know if I do.
But you won't. But dude, how could you know? You won't know until you're
I
fucking
just
old.
think that if I'm 85 years old and she's 85 years old, I don't think we're going to want to get naked with each other. I don't know. Is that a horrible thing to say?
You just don't know yet.
You're
bro.
right.
You know.
And it's because right now I'm not attracted to 85-year-olds.
You're just, dude. You're just.
That's just the
That-
fundamental truth of it.
But dude, also like you're just not even like wise enough yet to understand what things you'll know by the time, like maybe that will never change. Maybe you will never be physically attracted to an 85-year-old. But whatever else you learn along the way, like you just never know.
Do you think this is something I asked you at the live show, and now we're blending towards that conversation, which is, you know, at my age, I'm not attracted to 85-year-olds.
Mhm.
But when I'm 85, I suspect that I will still be attracted to young women. I just won't act on it out of loyalty.
Right.
But or do you think it changes?
So dude, it's funny you say that. I don't know. I mean, it might be a to each his own situation, but a guy once said to me, and this guy definitely has a bit of a wandering eye. I don't want to throw him under the bus, but he's an older guy. He goes, and I was in my 20s when he asked me this question. He goes, "How do you like your grapes?" And I was like, I don't know, like you know, when you bite into it, it bursts like a crisp grape. He goes,
It's a good answer.
He goes, yeah. He goes, you do, right? He goes, guess what? He goes, I like grapes like that too. And I've always liked grapes that way. And I still like them that way. And that was him trying to say that like a young woman's body can never be replaced or something. I like wasn't drawing the connection initially either.
Weird biblical
Yeah.
analogy. What a weird like Jesus way to kind of paint that lesson for you.
So that
It's a fable.
exactly. That's him saying that basically he agrees with what you're afraid of, in that you will not grow to find an 85-year-old's body attractive. You will always find a young woman's body more attractive,
But
according to him.
and I it's true, I'm sure, for women too. I'm sure that, you know, for women, who wouldn't want the 28-year-old hunk physical trainer?
Yeah, I sometimes feel like women are like more sophisticated in that regard. And like if anyone, like if you had to pick, are men or women more likely to be attracted to like a person whose body is terrible and older, you definitely could guess that women are.
Yeah, maybe true.
Maybe. I don't know,
true.
maybe I'm pulling that out of my
listen,
ass.
Listen, I'm sure you're right. You're right. Sophisticated is the word. They have sophisticated tastes.
Yeah, and like what they're attracted to.
But having said that, I think we as humans are at our most sexually desirous state when we are in our 20s, right? Our skin is tight.
I don't think necessarily. Like I think that like the 20s, 30s.
The screwed up horrible answers that some people would, there may be some science to suggest that late teens even.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Which is when your
It's a fucked
body
up
is
thing to
most
think about.
fertile, right?
I know.
And that there's some kind of scientific truth to that. I don't know. At least in terms of the animal kingdom, I suspect that that's true.
Yeah.
Which,
But there are things that can play into that, dude. It's like the more with status and success and experience, like those are all things that can become competition for physical attractiveness.
True.
You know
true.
what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know.
It's good. This is rich conversation.
Yeah, it is. It's rich. Speaking of rich, we're starting to narrow down our honeymoon ideas.
So I have a question. So we have a relationship question from somebody
Oh,
that
fun.
I think would go in nicely here
Okay.
before
Because
the
I was going to
honeymoon time.
tie that animal kingdom sex thing into what we might be thinking about for a
So,
honeymoon.
okay,
But
go
no.
I
That's
didn't
a little
know
teaser.
I didn't know you had
That's a little
thought that far in
teaser
advance.
trailer.
I didn't know you had thought that far in advance as far as a connection. Tie it in.
Those are hints.
No, tie it in.
Those are
We can-
hints.
We can do this anywhere.
I
I'm
need
sorry.
this. If you don't
Go ahead.
read this relationship
No.
question to me first,
Now I feel bad because you had done what I had done. I had assumed that you hadn't done what I had done, when in fact you had.
wait, what does that mean?
Meaning that I had tied, like I thought that you were making a full pivot. I didn't know that what you were going to say was connected to what we're talking about.
It is a full pivot. It's a full pivot. I just am using a tenuous connection to saying the animal kingdom to spring us forward. But I've already got 2 topics under my belt. I did weather cold. I like that. And I did elder sex. It's your turn.
Okay, well, how
Hit
about this?
me.
This is good. I have a tie-in to the animal kingdom thing after your thing. So now we have a full
All right.
map.
Where do you want to go?
We can
Where
do,
do you
all right,
wanna
We
go?
can do my thing, but realistically, this relationship thing isn't necessarily directly related to what we're talking about. It's a relationship thing, which makes it very loosely related. Therefore, I wouldn't argue that it should take any sort of precedence over whatever you have to say.
I'm going to make a co-executive decision
Okay, we'll do
and
it.
say, give me this.
Relationship question. This appeared to have some kind of urgency to it as well.
Oh, good.
So I wanted to try to we wanted to try to get it in here as quick as we could.
Get it in, baby.
Give me 1 second. To
Take a
find it.
Viagra and get that in there.
I've got a dilemma that you could talk about on the podcast, and I would love y'all's input. My boyfriend and I have been together for 5 years. We met in college at ISU. LOL. She's LOLing because I was recently in Ames, Iowa. Love that you're tying that in there. Love it. Anyway, we have lived in his hometown for the last 3 years. Before I got my new job, we both were planning on moving out west to Colorado. He's been job searching off and on out there and hasn't found a good opportunity yet. I got a new job last May and I absolutely love it. I'm making friends and growing at the company. Now I don't want to move, but my boyfriend is miserable at his job and wants to move still. We are so conflicted and I'm worried if we move, I'm going to be sad and depressed again, not having any friends out in Colorado. Do you guys have any advice on this?
All right. So as I understand it, she has a good job in Illinois.
I think Iowa.
Oh, Iowa. I get Iowa
So-
State and Illinois State mixed up.
So-
ISU. Which one is ISU?
I believe it's Iowa State.
Is it? All right.
Is Illinois State a thing?
It might not be.
I have no idea. Well, anyway, okay. So let's assume that they live in Iowa,
Okay.
which is not super far from Colorado. Let's just quickly do Ames to Denver drive.
You could tell me that they are on opposite coasts, and I would believe you.
I think they're they're drivable for people out there. People out there drive further distances more quickly.
Okay.
Uh,
Do they?
yeah, because there's like no traffic. It's like open road. You can
The
speed.
Great Plains.
Yeah,
of
exactly.
Iowa.
Okay, it's a 10-hour drive. It's far, but it's doable.
That's not terrible.
It's not terrible.
Right.
That's from Denver to Ames. All right. Anyway, whatever. It's far. So, okay. What were we going to say? Having known that now.
All right. So they're living, and she's gotten a job in Ames and is happy and loving her job, but he has no job, nor does he have a job in Colorado. They just want to move there for the prospect of him getting a job and lifestyle.
It sounds like it maybe. We were both planning on moving out west to Colorado. He's been job searching off and on out there and hasn't found a good job opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get, that's how I understand it. I mean, look, I think that fundamentally there's 4 things to consider. but they work.
It's a lot of things. That's funny.
They're not that different. It's okay. Does he want to move to Colorado for lifestyle? Does she want to move to Colorado for lifestyle?
Right.
Does he have a job in Colorado? Does she have a job in Colorado?
Right.
And
those are the 4 things.
do you know what I'm saying?
Yes,
what
I do.
I mean
I do. It's like you sort of like can add up the scores of those different categories.
Yeah,
to find
and
an
the
answer.
fact that he does not have a job in Colorado, nor does she,
right?
But that she has a job in Illinois,
Iowa.
Damn it. Means that is the Trump factor that means to me that they should stay. Because unless he had a job, unless one of them had a job, there's no reason to go.
Yeah.
They can't justify going.
So let's assume that for now, they're going to maintain the status quo because of that fact. He does not have a job, right? So it sounds to me also that one of the things that's worrying for her is that they are sort of planning for futures that are at odds with each other. Neither of them are happy in each other's scenario. So my advice to her would be, keep growing at your company, keep doing your thing as he continues to look for jobs. And as you continue to sort of prosper in your job, maybe an opportunity will open. And let's assume that, you know, Denver is more of a budding metropolis than anything that's in Iowa. And maybe there will be opportunity for her to actually advance her career in Colorado. So that by the time where he finds a good job, this won't be a big deal.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. I think that that's exactly the right advice.
It's not bad, yeah.
But I do not think that they should load up the station wagon and drive out there, abandoning her good job.
Agreed.
In the hopes that they both find jobs out there.
Totally.
They can't move until one of them has a job.
Totally.
This isn't the gold rush of 1949, you know? It's like, what are you talking about? Unless she was miserable in her job.
Right. Which she is not.
And they were miserable in Ames.
Right. Which I'm sorry that we know you guys don't live in Ames, but we're assuming that you're Iowa people still.
Yeah.
Predominantly in-state school. It's like a fair thing to assume.
Right. If they were both unhappy and they both wanted to move, they should move. Regardless of how employed they were.
Yeah.
But she's happy, has a job. Neither of them have a job in Colorado. They should not go out there.
Yeah, this is almost a good scenario. It's like you have the safety of the good job. He's figuring his shit out. As you work, and this is the other thing, when people are figuring things out, this is the thing that I encourage people to do. I talked to somebody today whose boyfriend is moving into the city. They live in New Jersey currently. Her boyfriend's moving to the city, and she's a little worried about the transition. That's something worth worrying about. But like worrying about a future thing that has not yet happened yet can really you can prematurely ruin it. It can just become its own self-fulfilling prophecy and ruin the relationship when in reality, you don't know how things are going to play out. So you sort of have to approach it in periods. So take it a couple weeks at a time. Don't be like, oh, he's moving to New York. Oh, he's going to find better people. Oh, he's going to like it better. He's going to outgrow me. Don't assume that. You can't assume that. And by assuming that, you become insecure and you ruin things. So that's not the same as this situation, but as things unfold, who knows what's going to happen? Maybe he'll get some great job offer in Iowa. Maybe you just don't really know. So you can kind of plan for the future, but you don't have to make assumptions about it.
Yeah, I think that's very good advice. Some people are better at that than others.
Totally.
I'm not very good at that.
I'm not either, but I don't think anyone is naturally, and you have to remind yourself because it's a good exercise. Because, you just don't have control of the future.
I make tremendous assumptions without even realizing that they're not real.
Like what? Like what?
I don't know. I make assumptions about how people feel or about how things are going to go without even acknowledging that the thing hasn't happened yet.
Totally.
It's as if I think I'm some, all-seeing prophet who has already looked at his future and doesn't like it.
Totally. Honeymoon.
Okay, so yeah, we are. I have become very turned on by the idea of a safari.
Wow, Sick.
Come on.
Dude.
Come on.
It's a great safari activity.
Have you
Great honeymoon
done
activity.
a safari?
I have not.
I know that everybody goes on safari on their honeymoons.
For a reason, though. And not everybody.
A lot of people do.
Really?
I hear about it a lot. I know it's an expensive thing, so maybe it's, my group of friends or whatever, but
but there's good reason for this. First of all, it requires a lot of time because it's far away. There's a time difference, blah, 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 blah. So that's a reason why it's good for a honeymoon, because you can actually take the time. The second reason why it's good for a honeymoon is because, to your point, it's expensive and it's okay to spend a lot of money on your fucking honeymoon.
Yeah. That's right.
So where are you looking at? Have you started narrowing it down?
Well, let me, add on to those reasons you just gave, which is I really don't know that we'll ever be, when is the next time that we'll ever be able to take a 2-week vacation together?
Totally.
Maybe never.
Maybe never.
Because in the next 2 years, I presume we'll both have full jobs, busy lives, etc. And everyone lets you go on your honeymoon for 2 weeks. People aren't bothered. Employers are not bothered by that.
Totally.
And then we'll have kids and we'll never be able to go anywhere again. Our lives are over.
Totally.
Finished.
Finito.
Yeah. Miserable.
Misery.
So.
It's true though, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. We're not packing up a baby stroller into the overhead compartment on our way to Botswana.
So this is the beauty of the safari, dude. It's like, it can be very glamorous from what I understand. And these South African countries are just so stable and like they're just designed for like the most extravagant safari you can imagine.
These safari places that we're starting to look at are preposterously luxurious.
Are they just so sick? That's amazing.
Ridiculous.
It's awesome.
And you're not super put off by it because you think that the one time in your life to truly ball out is your honeymoon.
Dude, cough up the cash, baby.
Yeah, and you hope that, your wedding gifts will help you finance it or whatever it is. And, my God, I mean, price is no object. I've just started to look into this, but some of these hotel rooms, they're like tree houses that are built up on pedestals so that you have a view of the sun setting over the bush like you're in the Lion King, and you've got insane bird life dipping their beaks in the little pool in front of the place, and then elephants and rhinoceri. I think it's rhinoceri. Is it rhinoceri? The plural of rhinoceros? I don't know. And then water buffalo. The migration, is going to be happening, I think, while we're there or while we would go. We're definitely going to go right after the wedding.
Awesome.
We're not going to be a couple that does what a lot of couples do, which is to do a mini moon.
You can't punt the honeymoon or you'll never go on it.
This is the problem. Everyone does the mini moon and says we're going to plan our bigger, longer honeymoon for later in the year, but then they never go on the honeymoon.
You're not going to go on that.
No. So we're thinking we do 2 weeks, right? But look, what I've heard is the safari itself is exhausting. You're up really early in the morning. You're packing into the trucks. You're going out into the bush, tracking these animals, sighting, all of that. You get back, for lunch, and then you go back out. And, it's a long day and you're tired. So you don't want to do more than 3 or 4 days of that. But which means that we still have plenty of time to do other things, which means I have a second leg that I want to add on.
Smart. Let's hear it.
Okay, this has been something I've been dreaming of doing.
Can I guess?
Yeah.
Maldives?
Well, you're not far off, but that's not the second leg.
Oh, okay. Wait, what do you mean? So there's more than 2 legs?
I have a 3-leg trip that I'm thinking about.
Damn, dude, the old third leg.
Well, you got 2 weeks.
Fuck yeah, dude, 100%.
What are you gonna do? 100%. You don't want to be in one place for 2 weeks. I don't even think you want to be in 2 places for 2 weeks.
100%.
If you're going that far, you want to see 3 places.
100%. Absolutely.
So this is my second leg. You want another guess? It's more animals.
Oh.
This is one type of animal.
Kenya?
Well, you got what type of animal?
Giraffe?
No.
Fuck.
I want to see giraffes, but I'm hoping
hippos?
No.
Okay, sorry. I give up. Gorilla. Wow. I can help you. I can guide you on this.
I want to go.
I can help you.
Gorilla trekking. And I think that's Rwanda.
It is, but there's
other places
where you can do it for less money if budget becomes a thing.
Money is no object.
Okay, then
we
Rwanda.
We only
Rwanda's
get
the
one
move.
honeymoon.
Wow, dude, that's so sick.
I want to go
You should do that.
have bananas with silverbacks.
You should do that.
I want to eat lunch with a pack of silverback
That's
gorillas.
so sick, dude. That's so fucking cool.
Dude, have you done this?
No, I hiked, but we did the like less expensive one where like you don't definitely see gorillas, and we didn't see.
Gotta see the gorillas.
Yeah. I just it was too expensive for me at the time. I would. You have to. Yeah, you should do it.
So
Sick.
that's what I want to do. Ever since someone told me about gorilla trekking in Rwanda, I have not been able to stop thinking about it.
It's supposed to be one of the like most mind blowing experiences that exists.
Buddy, I am so excited to hang out with gorillas in the wild. I just can't even describe it.
It's super sick, dude.
If that's the one positive outcome that comes from getting married, it was worth it.
Dude,
If I needed to get married and engaged, I'm making a joke, but in order to hang out with gorillas, I think that's a price I'm willing to pay.
I think this is a great idea. And this is a great way to do this. It's like, oh, what like things have I always wanted to do that I'm never going to have time and money to do?
Can't bring a 2-year-old to hang out with gorillas. That's lunch to them.
Unreal, dude. So
Yeah.
then after that, what's the final leg?
Well, is it the Seychelles that are off of Africa?
Yeah.
So I
Giant
said,
tortoises.
What is it?
They have one species of giant tortoise that's native to there,
Cool.
I believe.
Cool.
That's supposed to be really sick.
Can you grab onto the back shell of a giant tortoise and let them pull you through the water slowly?
I'm not sure. The ones that I saw, they get scared,
Oh.
and they like I'm
Are
not
they
sure.
fast?
No, they're very slow, but they're fast at slipping into their shells.
And then they just sink to the bottom?
No, but they're on land when this is happening. I'm not sure about the swimming version or what the deal is with that.
I see.
But yeah, Seychelles, dude, that's fucking cool. What a cool idea.
Because what I was going to say is what I definitely do not want to do is I don't want to lie on a beach for our honeymoon. You
You can do a little bit of that in Seychelles.
That's my point.
So what a nice way to finish it off.
Little touch.
Relax
of that.
on the final leg.
Have a little touch of, tropical island life, drinking cocktails out of coconuts,
Sick.
tiki torches and shellfish, that kind of thing.
Dude, fucking
Fly home.
Unreal, man. So the safari is what, like South Africa, Botswana? Kind of
Yeah, you can go to
Zambia?
Kenya. You can go to all kinds of places.
So Kenya would be convenient for your itinerary if you're going to end up in Rwanda.
I think we're gonna try to talk to a travel guide
And you have
or
them,
one
like,
of these
arrange it
sort
all.
of
Yeah,
all
that's smart.
encompassing places
Travel
that
agent.
ties it for you. Because my friend who went on a safari told me that hiring the travel guide was the most important thing they did because there's so many logistical things you don't foresee.
Yeah.
For example, the
Makes
car that picks you up from some random airport to drive you out into the bush to these places where on the way you run into these checkpoints of guys that have, guns and stuff, and you don't know what's going on, and you need to have your things in order.
Where did the person that
I'm sure they're government guards. It's border guards, whatever it is. But you don't want to. I don't know.
I do agree. I mean, it's nice
Having everything
iron it all
set
out is nice. Yeah.
with the people who know what they're doing is will make life just much less of a headache. Plus, you're flying around. You're in planes, you're in flights, bouncing around from these places, right?
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
so making all of that as seamless as possible because you're going to be unpacking and then repacking.
Yeah.
It's your honeymoon. You want to do as little as possible.
Totally. Yeah, and like I just meant from like a proximity standpoint, just Kenya is so close to Rwanda, and they have that giraffe hotel there.
That's the one that Sierra has been
That's sick,
dreaming of.
dude. That would be
But
crazy.
I think that one is very difficult to get a reservation.
That
at.
makes sense. It looks like it's not that big.
Yeah.
Dude, fucking such a fun plan, man.
Yeah.
Such a fun plan. I dig it.
Cool.
What was I gonna say? Okay, dude. So on this topic, I started watching this Will Smith show on National Geographic. It's like called Welcome to Earth. and it's Will Smith basically like exploring.
He's not. Oh, he's in it.
Yeah, it's become a pretty popular format to just have some like random celebrity exploring.
Chris Hemsworth is doing one too, which looks awesome.
Interesting.
Where he does all kinds of extreme stuff.
Cool.
Cold plunges in the Arctic, etc. Keep going. Sorry.
Sick. So it's a fun format. It's cool. As a person who sort of like toys around in that sort of with that kind of thing, sometimes it can be difficult for me to watch because I just get jealous. Like I want to be doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But here's what I would say. Like the show, this Will Smith show is shot, dude. It looks like it cost $1 bajillion to make this show.
Yeah.
The director is Darren Aronofsky.
What?
Yeah. Darren Aronofsky is directing the Will Smith travel show.
Black Swan, Requiem for a Dream.
Yeah.
All those funky movies that are kind of spooky and scary.
Totally. And then even some like bigger blockbuster ones more recently. I forget specifically, but whatever. Huge director. And it's shot so beautifully, like so artistic. Like it looks like it cost so much money to make. And like, I hate to be a dick, and maybe this is just me truly being a hater. I'm not discounting that. But like, I don't think as eager, and like when you watch Will Smith do the show, you're like, oh, this is why this guy is so successful. He gets there, he's present, he's ready to rip, he's loving it. He's not like phoning it in, he's trying to learn. But like him not, like you can tell he didn't care about this that much 5 years ago. And I think if they could bridge the gap with like the celebrity host being a person who like clearly has always had an affinity for this. And I know this is where it's sounding like maybe I'm a hater because like I obviously care about this shit.
Yeah.
So it annoys me to watch these people who like the Zac Efron show. I have that critique even more. It's like, oh, here's Zac Efron learning. Like that's not that interesting to me. I would like him to know more before he's bringing us out into this journey. And the Will Smith show, so sick, so dope. But again, I'm like, I wish that Will Smith cared about this more.
Yeah.
Before.
You know, he didn't, grow up dreaming about the Serengeti.
Dude,
because he was too busy in West Philadelphia, born and raised.
Exactly.
On a playground. That's where he spent most of his days. I mean, he was chilling, maxing, relaxing, cooling, shooting b-ball outside of the school.
When a couple of guys were up to no good.
Yeah, they'd made trouble in the hood.
But dude, it's true. It's true. That's hilarious. But dude, they literally put him in one of those like submarines that they film Planet Earth in, and like send him to the Mariana Trench. Like the shit that they have Will Smith doing is so sick and it's so crazy. But like, and he's ready to rock, and like, but you can just tell, dude. You're like, you're just I don't know. This isn't even, dude. I know I just sound like a fucking
not
hater,
at all.
But
not at all.
I think that I could host that show way better than him, but I'm just not famous.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, is there you're doing it already.
I know, and I'm not as like nature-y as that, which I understand, but I still think I could do the nature angle better than him. But I think, yeah, if they just like let me do my thing and give me a huge budget, like I can make the best show.
You're doing more of an Anthony Bourdain type thing.
Right, yeah, maybe a little bit more.
Which is cool. I think it's there's more of a boots on the ground realism to that.
Yeah. Which I'm editing all the Iraq stuff right now, and it's coming out pretty cool. I'm excited. I'm gonna figure out the specific formats. I'm figuring it out still, but
awesome. We got some fun stuff coming up. I'll be in Bananas, Hasbrook Heights, New Jersey. When is that? February. Go to francisellis.com for tickets. That's February 18th and 19th. Come check me out. Doing a bunch of shows at Hasbrook Heights, Bananas, New Jersey. And then I have a big New York weekend, April 8th and 9th, Gotham Comedy Club.
Sick.
Oh, that's going to be a fun one. Check those out as well. That ticket link will be up soon.
Very dope. I'm going to be in Denver 3/31 through April 2nd with Ricky Velez, Comedy Works.
Nice.
That should be cool. Hoping to add some more stuff to my calendar too. And hopefully we'll be adding some more shit as well soon. And I guess anything else?
No, that's all.
Awesome.
Thanks, guys. See ya.